Hey guys, it's RMD Tech here, and today I am bringing you a review of the HomTom HT30 smartphone. It's a 4G smartphone that HomTom were very kind in sending to me to give a review for you guys. The first thing I want to talk to you guys about is the price. This phone is less than £100. It comes in at only £95 on Amazon, which is incredibly cheap. Now my first thoughts when I hear that a phone is so cheap is that, wow, it must be running Android 4, maybe not even Android 4, maybe Android 3, but no, this phone is running full Android 7. Android 7, that is the same version of Android that is currently on the Samsung Galaxy S8. It is incredible what this phone is running. The first thing you're probably wondering about this phone is, how did they manage to make it so cheap? Well, that's one of the bad things about this. Unfortunately, it is going to have more of a plastic feel to it. It's not an aluminium body, it's not glass, it is made of plastic. But if it's under £100, you haven't really got much room to complain. Other than that, the display is 720p rather than 1080p. But for anyone who isn't a massive media junkie, you're not going to have any problems with that. It's going to be fine for browsing the internet, Facebook, messaging, WhatsApp, whatever. Even YouTube on an occasional basis, it's not going to make a massive difference whether it's 720p or 1080p. But that's not to say that this phone is all bad news. One thing that they have done, which has absolutely blown me away, is they've actually managed to fit a fingerprint sensor onto the phone. Now, I'm not saying that they shouldn't be able to fit one on there physically. What I'm saying is that they shouldn't have been able to do it for under £100. That's insane that they've managed to do that. And I have verified that it is working. I've used it on my fingerprint that I've actually registered on the device, another one of my fingerprints that I haven't registered on the device, as well as other people's fingerprints as well, and it has been insanely accurate. I am genuinely blown away. Obviously it's not as fast as your iPhone fingerprint sensor, your Samsung fingerprint sensor, but it's a functional fingerprint sensor that's actually working on a phone that is under £100. Not only this, but it's also a quad-core processor with 3GB of RAM and a 3000 mAh battery. That is phenomenal for what you are paying. Okay, so as you can see, the camera really isn't fantastic on this device. This is the selfie camera rather than the rear-facing camera. It's not fantastic, but it's also not terrible, so you get what you pay for with this camera, really. And this here is what the rear-facing camera looks like. So again, not fantastic, but definitely an improvement from the selfie camera. One thing that all my power users out there are going to be interested in is the battery life. This phone, as I already said, has a 3000 mAh battery inside of it from the beginning. One problem that I did notice was that there's a little cover over the battery underneath the back cover of the device, and you won't actually be able to turn on the device or charge it until you remove that little plastic cover, so make sure that you do remove that before you actually try and send it back or complain to HomTom that your phone isn't working. But what I did find is that the device actually doesn't manage to last you through the better part of a day. It's not going to be as good as iPhone or a Samsung or even phones like OnePlus, but what I can say is it's actually very good. It's probably not a fantastic way to explain it, but even with the over 100 apps that I have installed on it, it was able to last me from waking up around 6 AM to sort of I had to put it on charge around maybe 5 PM, and that's with about 2 hours or so of screen on time. So again, it's not fantastic, but for under £100, I definitely wouldn't be complaining. So just to start wrapping things up here, what we have is a 4G smartphone with a 720p display, a 3000 mAh battery, it's got 3GB of RAM, Android 7. You really have not got much to complain about with this phone, especially considering it's under £100. But if you did find this video useful, please don't forget to leave a like. I know everyone's always telling you to do so, but you don't understand actually how much it does help everybody out. And if you do want to see more content like this in the future, hit that subscribe button and don't forget to turn on notifications.